So you're having a little bit of trouble focusing, and maybe your ideas feel a little flat. Maybe everything feels like it's harder than it should feel. Well, you've probably experienced any of these things before or now because you're watching this video, and maybe you think that you are burnt out. Well, I'm going to propose that you are not burnt out and you are actually just bogged down, overwhelmed, and buried underneath your digital clutter. Digital clutter is when you have more than 2 tabs open in your browser, when you have so many files and they're so disorganized in all of these different folders, and you can't even see your desktop wallpaper anymore because you have so many icons, and you're just completely overwhelmed by how many apps you have and how many subscriptions you have and the software that you use for work and for creative projects, and the fact that you have so many means of communication. You have people who can DM you on Instagram. You are part of 5 different groups on Discord. You also have Slack for work. You're using messages because you are an iPhone user. You also have Facebook Messenger. And on top of all of that, you also have WhatsApp and Signal and Telegram and all of these things. So you're constantly being pinged for attention. You have all of these noisy notifications, and all of that adds on to this digital clutter that I am talking about. It's so common these days that I think most people don't realize that this is contributing to that overwhelm and to that burnt out feeling that you have. That it's not just the fact that you're pushing yourself. It's not the hustle. It's not the grind. And it's not the expectations of society and family and friends and all of that stuff. Those things can be factors as well to your burnout. I think the sleeping dragon here is your digital clutter. I think that low key, it is fragmenting your attention. And the fact that you have to make so many micro decisions throughout the whole day. Whenever you get a notification, do I open this notification? Do I reply to this email? Do I answer this phone call right now? Or do I ignore it and call the person back? All of these decisions that you make throughout the day that are tied to your digital clutter can contribute to decision fatigue, which also contributes to you feeling all of these things, like feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you can't focus, feeling like your ideas just aren't flourishing in the way that they should. In order to reach those creative breakthroughs that you're looking for, you need to give yourself space. You need to give yourself space to breathe, space to do nothing, space to just let your brain wander. Because in those moments where your brain is entering that state of zoning out, those are the moments in which you actually do the most work. The mental clutter and the digital clutter, they're both tied together. And I'm hoping that with this video, I'm able to inspire you and to help you figure out some ways that you can declutter your digital space in order to improve your mental clarity and help you with your creativity or any projects that you're working on. Because this is a very real thing, and even though I have systems in place, and even though I'm pretty self-aware of when I'm going through this, I still go through it. And I think that it is a challenge if you are a part of this modern world, if you are integrated with the technological aspect of our society. The number one thing that I see my friends and other people go through is a cluttered desktop. And it's something that I used to have on my computer ages ago. Then I discovered a way to have a clean desktop. Now, whenever I look back and I see what other people's desktops look like, I'm like, how are you able to function, right? You go through this trouble of creating a beautiful wallpaper or like finding the perfect photo of your pet or your child or whatever, and you set it as your wallpaper, but you can't even see it because you have all these icons and text on the screen. How could you even focus? How could you have any kind of clarity when there's no negative space? There's no place for you to just have thoughts, because you open your eyes and you look at the computer and you're just fed this in all of this data. So I think the first and easiest thing that you can do is to clean up your desktop. Make sure that you have a wallpaper that inspires you, maybe motivates you. And sometimes what I do is, if I have some kind of text or something that is motivating me at any given time, like if it's something specific, I'll just put it in plain text and I'll just put it on the wallpaper. Like, just do the thing. Being able to see them when you open up your computer, it gives that instant spark of inspiration. But of course, you have to be able to see the computer. You have to be able to see it. Like, if you just have all these icons, then it's a little bit challenging. So number one is definitely clear up your desktop. I have this friend of mine who has like 30 tabs open in his browser at any given moment. And it's not possible to work on all of those windows at the same time. So why even have them open? I think this just adds to that desperation. It's kind of like filling up your schedule with things to do so that you can say that you're busy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being productive, because you could just be filling up your schedule to feel like you're getting stuff done, but the stuff that you're getting done isn't really quality work. I feel like having thousands of tabs open in your browser is pretty much the same thing. So if you are one of those people, then I would suggest trying to limit the amount of tabs that you have open. There's a lot of browsers now that have some kind of feature where you can group tabs, or you can hide them, like snooze them for later kind of thing. I feel like those features are just band-aids. Honestly, like, what are the chances that you hide, 20 tabs and that you actually go back and like look at them later? So if you need a little bit of assistance, create some kind of system, right? Like, if you do a lot of research or things like that, then maybe open up a notepad, like a text file or something like that, and then save those, and then mark why you are saving those links to look at later. I think like creating some kind of system where you're able to actually go through those tabs at some point will be a lot more productive than just keeping and hiding tabs and all of this stuff. So as you're working in your browser and stuff, try to limit the amount of tabs that you have to 3 and see how that works out for you. And maybe get back to me in the comments if you try it out for a little bit. Something else that I do is I have an inbox folder. And so I call this the inbox folder because I'll take screenshots or just like bookmarks or things like that, like little notes that I take, like quick notes that I have to do or whatever. And I toss those into inbox, and I review that folder pretty much like on a weekly basis, depending on how many items are in that folder. Sometimes it piles up pretty quickly. Like if I'm having a pretty busy week, then I might have a lot more files in there to review. And then other times I might only have like 3. So I'm not going to sit there and like review those. I think that having some kind of system, a schedule, a routine where you are organizing your files on a weekly basis can really help to mitigate the amount of digital clutter that builds up over weeks and months of time of using your computer every single day. I think this is just like a really simple way. Like, if you can put it on your calendar, or just remember, like, every Friday morning, just take an hour to organize some of the files that are on your computer. You identify whether that's like your downloads folder, your documents, or your photos, whatever it is, and just go through them. I find that this is super helpful. And once you get into that routine, it's actually pretty challenging to step out of it, because you start to get used to your computer being organized, that when it's not organized, then it feels like you are losing control. Well, that's how I feel anyway. So something that you can consider is doing this type of like digital Sabbath. Maybe taking one day out of your week where you have no screens. I find that for me, it's usually like Saturday or Sunday, unless some kind of event or something is happening and I'm doing video or photo for the event, then it's a little bit harder to avoid the screens. Just deciding that you have that one day where you are not going to look at any screens, where you're not going to open up your computer. And again, for me, this is usually Saturday, because I take this day to spend it with family, or to go to some kind of activity like going to the beach or stuff like that. It just kind of happened naturally that it was Saturday, but for you, it could be Wednesday. I don't know. Just like figure out that balance where you don't have to look at your computer for the entire day. And if you're able to also not look at your phone, like if you have a smartphone or whatever, then maybe also include that as well. Because taking a break, it just kind of grounds you. It brings you back into reality, or, the simulation. But at least you aren't looking at your screen. And it does give you that kind of clarity that I talked about earlier, where you don't really have like the effects of burnout. And you're able to let your mind reset and wander and kind of get curious about the world and thinking about your creative projects from a new perspective, not from like a hustle, like I got the blinders on kind of thing. I've seen all kinds of creative results from doing any of these things. I feel like sometimes when I'm bogged down by my overwhelm, I just look around and I see my physical environment, and then I see like, oh, there's like a thing that I like. The reason that I can't focus and the reason that I don't have inspiration for my creative project right now is because I am physically surrounded by things right now and I'm being overwhelmed by them. And sometimes just shifting the physical world around me shifts the mental state inside of me. If all of this sounds like super overwhelming and it sounds like a lot, it's okay, because you can start small. And once you start, you can start to ramp that up and just do one thing. Like, I don't know, pick like a junk folder that's on your computer and delete it. Go to your desktop. If you have a very cluttered desktop, clean and organize your desktop. It doesn't have to be like this ongoing large project to tackle your digital clutter. You can actually just start very small with one little thing. And that small change can make a big difference depending on what it is that you're looking for. All of the things that I talked about in this video, these are all things that you can discover and that you can develop over time. Don't feel like everything has to happen at once. I do have some courses that cover like digital detox. I have like a 3-day digital detox course if you want to check that out. The link is going to be in the description. I also have a digital minimalism course. So if you want to declutter and stay decluttered with your digital devices, then definitely enroll. The link is also in the description, or you could go to my website, Romina.com. Anyway, I hope that this video was helpful for you. I wish that I had known some of these things when I was super young, but the culture of technology and having a ton of files on your computer was not a thing back then, but I was a creative on my computer, and so I had a lot of files and things, and it was a process to learn the systems and to develop these systems for myself and to be able to help other people to do the same thing so that they could relieve themselves of the digital declutter. This took time. It took time for me. And so if it takes time for you, then just remember that it is a journey. And the most important thing is that you start and that you take the first step. Anyway, let me know what projects you're working on, if you're doing anything that you are excited about, or if you're kind of thinking about jumping into something but aren't sure, then let me know in the comments below, because I would definitely love to know. And for now, I'm gonna go. So don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I will see you on the next one.